Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Welcome, everybody. So, welcome to everybody
Welcome.
that's here live. Welcome to everybody who is going to be watching the recording. The title of this little demonstration was I chose all around the world on the Wunda Chair because I knew that we'd be reaching people from all over the world, and also because one of the unique qualities of the Wunda Chair is that you really do get to work at it and on it from so many different directions, going all around the chair. And that's what we're going to look at today. So, well, first of all, I want to thank Pilates Link and Balanced Body for inviting me to demonstrate on their wonderful new Wunda Chair. I feel very honored to be one of the first people to have this chair. And I've had a chance to work on it, teach on it, see lots of bodies on this chair for the last 5 months or so. So I've really gotten to know it and love it. And I have some things I want to show you. So in a 20-minute time period, I know that it did say class on some of the advertisements, but I feel like the thing you would benefit the most from is seeing the chair in action. I was originally invited to do a demonstration. So I think what I'll do is take you through a bunch of exercises on the Wunda Chair. And if you would like to do them, if you have a Wunda Chair at home and you want to do these exercises with me, I do invite you to do that. That would be great. But in the interest of time, I'm going to just keep moving. So there'll be limited instruction. If there is an exercise that you don't feel familiar with, please, by all means, safety is always first. And you can benefit a lot from watching me and then trying it later on your own. Anything else I want to say? I think that's it. Does that sound good, though? That kind of a setup where we're just going to go through a bunch of different exercises? Yeah. This Wunda Chair is not like any Wunda Chair I've ever been on. But I have to say that the biggest differences and the reasons why I love this chair are more visible than verbal. So let's get on the chair. Let's let you see what it does for my body with the Pilates exercises, and let's play. Okay. So first of all, as you know, Joe also made this equipment as furniture, as something that helps you to always be in good posture and living life with proper alignment, good posturing. So you can use it as a chair. And then I want to show you how the springs are on this particular chair. So once you lift it up, I've taken the springs off to turn it into a chair. And then Balanced Body has a beautiful mechanism. It's an open eye hook, and it's very easy to use the springs from here. You just drop facing the hook down, the spring onto the setting you want, and then as you lower the pedal, it slides into place on its own. So it's very easy. Also, when you want to take it off, all I do is hold on to the spring, slide it back up on that diagonal that comes right out. So I don't have to actually hook anything. I'm just sliding it in and out. Okay, isn't that cool? And while we're here, I just want to point out that Ken will tell you more about how he got the inspiration for this chair, but you'll see that the hooks are set quite high and close together on the chair, and that affects the way the pedal looks in relationship to the chair. Okay, so I just want you to pay attention to that as we start moving. So Francesca, if you don't mind, zooming back out so that you can see me in the whole frame. Is that good? Is that good, Francesca? Okay. All right. So let's just get started. We're just going to go around the world on the chair, starting with the swan. So you're going to place yourself with the hands just under the shoulders, reaching long through the entire torso. And each time you pump into the pedal, you're finding more two-way stretch in your body. Stabilize the low body as you lift up into the upper back and reach down into the pedal. We're going to repeat that 2 more times. I love the way the spring supports me to find a nice, even, elongated arch in my upper back. Feel like each time I can get just a little bit better at it. 3 pumps, keeping the body long and strong, and then reaching down into the pedal and up through the chest. Okay, now I can always, one thing on the Wunda chair is it's great to work your symmetry one-sided. So you can take the exact same exercise and all you do is slightly adjust one hand towards the center, trying to keep the shoulders and the ribs and the hips even. Same effort, but really hard to balance just on one side. For me, one side is always harder than the other, but I'll be honest, I never can predict which one that's going to be. So the Wunda chair gives me all this great information about where my body tends to compensate and how I can pull it together. Okay. At the end of the swan, you always reverse the spine, round all the way to the floor, and roll all the way up. And then let's just go to the push down, same spring setting. And you're gonna reach up and over the pedal. This is not for everyone. For some people, they might be too small, or this just might be too much challenge to the low body stability. But I love this exercise. Just like the push down to the front, this is the same exercise, but done from the back of the chair. You reach forward into the spring, 3 pumps to get more length and strength in the middle. And then pull the pedal back from your center, balance and lift off. And open the arms out to the side. Okay, so now let's go sidewards. Mermaid on top. I sit just behind center with my legs out in front of me. The inside leg is on top of the other, but the legs are really reaching and stretching. And I reach up and over until I find the pedal. And then I try to maintain the length of my legs and my upper body as I go down and come back home. That coming back home is always a wake-up call for me because I always think my hips are staying even on the Wunda chair. And that's the moment when I can really test to see if I was able to do that. Reach. And then to the other side, same thing. I think on the camera, it's always helpful to even see the backside. Same thing as when you're in the studio. So again, you're looking for evenness in the hips, the ribs, the shoulders, a two-way stretch through your side bend. And the Wunda chair spring is here to squeeze the juice out of that. All right, and back to center. Let's go to the horseback. So move yourself back a bit. Start with the feet flexed. And then you point and lift off into your horseback. Reach down towards the pedal. You want to try to maintain all of this C curve. You reach down into the pedal and you can pump 2, 3, and then lift the pedal up with your center. Go down and reach. Two-way stretch. So that means two-way stretch. You're reaching under with the legs as you're reaching over with the arms. So the center is getting that nice, strong resistance that holds you together and balances you. And you can do 3 circles at the top and then come all the way down. Woo. Okay, let's go down onto the floor. Spine stretch forward. So there's 2 spine stretch forwards. You want your the end of the pedal, the base, to be, depending on your dimensions, somewhere between your ankles and your knees. Reach forward into the pedal with a tall back. And then as you press down into the pedal, connect the shoulders down the back, but lift your spine up, up, up taller. And then reach forward. Press down, squeeze your seat, and try to levitate off the ground using the spring for help. One more time. Let's just do 3 tall, and then we'll do 3 round. Same setup. Now when you round, shoulders still connect down the back. Legs still reaching under, arms still reaching over. And then you lengthen up into a tall back. And pull back into a C curve, into a round back. And reach forward. Times like this when I'm happy to have the Wunda chair there as a friend to get me in and up and over. Okay, are you guys following me? Let's go to the teaser. I'll leave a little time at the end for questions, okay? So you want to start with the feet on the pedal, depending on your dimensions, where it'll start. But you should be able to have your feet there and your both palms on the top of the pad here, which is actually quite different in size on the balanced body Controlology chair than what I'm used to. But it does give me a really good grip in exercises like this. So when you go into the teaser, you want to round back and use the pedal to help you get the shoulders down, lift the torso up, and reach the legs under. Whew. One more time. On these, it's important to remember that you don't need to press down very far with the pedal. If you put too much in your arms, you lose all the good stuff that comes in the center of your body. Okay, so after that, let's get on our stomachs. Can I still sit and just go? Okay, all right, so let's do the flying eagle. So you want to start as long as you possibly can, both reaching up into the pedal and reaching back into the wall. And then from there, connect the shoulders down the back, lengthen through your whole torso, and reach down into the pedal. Each time I go down, I try to get a little more length in my back. And this exercise, I can really feel my left shoulder needing a little extra attention to stay in the game. So I love having the springs here to help me with that. And then again, you just reverse the curve and round back into your spine. Okay, so let's do a couple of one-sided exercises that I love. The one arm press down side. And by the way, thank you to Francesca Kemet, she's doing my camera. Am I still in? Okay. All right. So I line myself up. My feet are going to be between where the arm is when the pedal is down. And I don't know. I guess I'm kind of, it depends on where you want to have that placement, right? So the setup before you go down onto the chair, you don't want it so wide that you can't connect to your back. And you don't want it so close that it's moving your shoulders. So this is about where I like to be. Round up and over, place my left hand on the padding, and the other arm continues back very much like a saw. And then I press down into the floor and pump 3 times here. And I must say, this is the exercise where I really feel, I couldn't tell you what exactly about this particular Wunda chair does it, but combination of the springs, the pedal placement, and where my hands are, I really can connect to my center. And I really need it on these exercises that help me control and balance my scoliosis. So I'm reaching up and behind me as much as I'm reaching down in front of me into the pedal. And then lift the pedal with my stomach, bring my hands down. And once I'm even, I can come right up and go to the other side. So you repeat. All of these, you want to try to get to where you can do it in one, woohoo, this side is hard, sweeping, continuous motion. Without stopping or slowing down too much, because that gets your middle to really jump in and do its job. This side is much harder for me, but I'm up for the challenge. So a related exercise to me, because it's also still working on symmetry and it's working one side more strongly than the other, are the push-ups down on the ground. So here's where the alignment comes more into play. You want your hands to land about shoulder width. And when the pedal is down, my hand's going to be about there. The other one's here. I want my feet right between that. So the setup alignment is pretty important. You round over, place one hand on the floor and one hand on the pedal, but leave the pedal up. Then you take the legs back, squeeze the heels together, come into your push-up, and try to hold on to your position, even as the spring tempts you to lose it. And then you can walk back in and stand up. Same thing on the other side. Leave the pedal up, take the other hand out to the shoulder width. Set up the low body nice and solid, keeping the spine long, and you press down, trying not to let any of the center move. What I feel is my back having to work to move the pedal and my middle working to stabilize. Okay, so I can't believe how fast the time is going. We're pretty much almost done with the demonstration, but I do want to do one more exercise on a different setting. So I'm going to take the spring setting to one one middle, one bottom, and do the leg frogs. Typical standard setting is one top and one bottom. Because of my weight and strength, I sometimes find that the middle bottom challenges me better. So I'm going to try that. I'm not sure. Let's see. So you start with the hands on the side, and you're going to leave the pedal up and get right up into position. And you'll see that the shape of this chair makes it easy to clear the frame. So you do 3, squeezing the heels together, and then 3 pumps, and you can repeat that. Finish with it up and step off. Okay, so do you have any questions?
Hi, Sandy, it's Regina.
Hi, Regina.
Thank you so much for that beautiful demonstration.
Well, you're welcome.
I have a question about that last exercise, the leg frogs, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain like if there's an upper back flexion, or do you, or is the idea of just keeping it really long the whole time?
Okay. Thank you for your question. As you know, if you've ever tried that exercise, it's a very hard exercise. So the question she's asking is, for me, there's so many things that are more important than that before you get there. I was taught this exercise where the spine is long, except for when you're pulling the pedal all the way up under you. When you actually do the exercise, you feel why that makes sense. You would also feel why, if you try to arch, you lose your back. It's not the same connection. So this is a good question, because when we get to really difficult exercises like these, we start breaking it down before we really get it. So I would encourage you to really you can even just do the setup. And you should be able to hold your whole body up in this position. Like I could probably talk to you for a couple of minutes. But if I was trying to do something else in my upper back, you can see how much that distorts what I'm trying to do in my whole body. So the answer is, to the greatest degree, keep the upper spine long. You may get up here and it's just so much work that you won't be there at first. You may not be there at first, but you're trying to get to where I was working with. I was really using my back to get length in the upper back. Does that answer your question?
I think so. I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything else? I really was only asked to do 20 minutes, and I want to make sure you have enough time to listen to Ken and ask questions. But if I'll take one more. Do you want to see any exercise on the Wunda Chair from me?
Is it okay if I ask a question?
Sure, yes.
So one real quick one, I noticed there's no vinyl or padding on the chair back, so the bottom bit. Is that by choice? Is there a reason for that?
Oh, that is something that you can ask Ken. That is something that you can ask Ken as soon as we're done with this, okay? I just want to make sure that I get the exercise questions now, and then I can get out of the way for you to talk about the equipment.
An exercise question. The width of the Controlology chair, is it any different? So something like teaser with a twist, do you have enough room for that rotation on the top of the chair?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Did you? No. I couldn't hear the question. It's an exercise question about the
It is an
twist on top.
Yeah. I'm just asking about the width of the top of the chair. How is that in relationship to other chairs? Like I have a Gratz, so the teaser with the twist, do you find that it's the same width? Is it narrower? Is it wider? What's the dimensions on the top of the chair for teaser with the twist?
I actually do have a Gratz in the room. So I actually know exactly how it's different in size. But to answer the exercise part of the question, the way it's such small differences that the way that it feels to me, that isn't the biggest challenge. I actually don't notice the size of the top of the chair as being the biggest difference. I feel like I can do the twist here as I can do the twist there as far as dimensions. What I think is more challenging on this chair in a good way is that the padding is very dense. So you really have to stay connected and be very authentic about the way you work the twist here, or you will not have stability. When you have a lot of cushion, you can get away with a lot. And what happens with that is your form suffers because you can't feel where you could improve the way your body's working on the equipment. So I would say that the dimensions of the top isn't a problem for me, not even on the snake twist. I think more it has to do with the location of the pedal being a little further to start and the top being very dense and with lots of great feedback. Yeah? Okay, well, I hope that seeing the chair in action inspired you a little bit, maybe to ask some more questions of Ken or to come over to my studio in Mar Vista here and try it out. You can definitely come in, feel it, work out on it. And so much of the differences are felt and so much more than spoken about. So I would be very happy to work with you on that. Yeah?
Cool.
Thank okay, Ken, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, we have Ken here. So Ken.
Yeah. Thanks, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. And thanks for demonstrating the chair so nicely and talking about it. I'll start by answering that one question about the padding. And as I looked at all the different chairs that came from the studio, and the ones that this was patterned were ones that were from Kathy Grant, and the ones that I saw at Drago's gym back in 1990. And what I noticed was that I think the chairs that were designed for home use to be used as a combination as an exercise chair and a sitting chair, those had padding on them, but the ones that were just being used in studios didn't have the padding on the underside of the step. And so I think the version that we have here is more the studio version and less the home version. And that's what I think. I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of what I've seen. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions about the chair, or should I talk about it, or this? And by the way, if you write your questions in, somebody's gonna have to read them to me because I can't read what's on the screen.
Okay. I can read them to you, Ken.
Okay, thank you. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. But it will be nice if you. I mean, if nobody has questions, it will be nice.
I've got a question.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken, my experience of the springs, I bought Controlology light arm springs and leg springs in the caddy, and they're more tightly wound. There feels like there's more feedback from the spring. Can you tell us about the spring of this chair? Is it sort of similarly different to the Gratz spring?
It's actually so close that it's kind of hard to tell the difference. It's designed for that chair and the weight of the pedal. So and there's kind of a difference because what I noticed when I was looking at the different chairs, the pedals were different weights. That was one thing that we had to try really hard to copy on this chair, is to get the right combination of pedal weight and spring resistance. So it's really, if you just take the spring off and you put it on a different chair, you kind of get a different result. But it's hard for me to say. I think these springs are probably a little bit stronger than the ones that you're used to. But I also think that if you just went from one chair to another, it would be hard to tell the difference right away until you started actually working on it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. It was actually really kind of a fun project because we really wanted to make a Wunda chair, and we wanted to make it as authentic as we possibly could. And so it was kind of like an exercise with the reformer, where we wanted to make it the way that it was made back like in 1960 or 1950s when they were originally designed. And so we had to find chairs that were made at that time, and the chairs that I used as patterns were actually chairs that were either made by Joe or made for Joe. And then they were given to Kathy Grant. And it was really kind of interesting because the kind of wood that those chairs were made out of is no longer being made anywhere. And it's actually really super thick, and it's not a plywood, it's actually plywood sides, but it has a really thick solid lumber core to it. So it makes it very strong, but also very light at the same time. And so the overall chair is actually a little bit lighter than what you'd expect. When you lift it up, you can see how Sandy was kind of slinging it around. But it made the pedal really strong, but also very light as well. And so we actually had to figure out a way to make that kind of wood so we could make the original kind of chair the way that it originally was when they were first built. And so we can get that original feeling. It was kind of an exciting process. And I don't think anyone else's chairs have that.
That's an interesting example you gave us of, a thicker, stronger core, but a result of a lighter pedal, because that just reminds me of a Pilates body.
Mm-hmm.
No?
I wasn't thinking that, but I'll go with that. That sounds pretty good to me. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Ken, I have a question.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I have a balanced body Wunda chair, and I have the cactus attachments. And I'm curious, this chair, it looks like the attachments are very close together for the top, middle, and bottom spring.
Yeah.
Closer together than I'm used to on my Wunda chair, and which would give less difference between settings. In terms of a smaller body with less, oomph versus a larger body. I kind of am wondering,
Yeah, this is a really complicated question. It sounds like it's really kind of simple, but it's really complicated because lots of times when you're on a chair, depending on where the hook is, where the springs are attached, sometimes the changing the hook position doesn't really change the initial resistance because you're not really changing the distance from the pedal that much. But it's when you start to extend the pedal, you start to get a different, we call it a force curve, right? And so I think that on the balanced body chairs, the pedals are actually a little bit longer. And so the distances between the hooks are a little bit different. And so it gives you basically a very different resistance. And they're actually very, the differences between the higher and lower one is greater on the BB chair.
Right. So I've had a hand injury, so I haven't even been able to use one spring on my balanced body chair. I've had to actually take a lighter spring from another piece of equipment and put it on so I could rehabilitate. So I'm wondering, are there spring options for this chair? I know I can't remove the spring because of the way it's attached to the chair. So I just have to take it off and then figure out a way to, jury rig a lighter spring. Do these springs come off the chair completely, or do they?
They come off the back, and they come off the front, but it's purposely designed to make it really difficult. Yeah. You know what you should do is you should send me an email. It's ken@pilates.com, and I can kind of explain to you and walk you through some of the changes and stuff, and then I can some of the questions that you might have I can find the answers to really easily. Sure. And I could probably help you with that. So, and I'd be happy to do that. It's really easy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
Ken, I see a question here from
Mhm.
somebody in the chat box. Mary Beth, she's asking if there are any cities that have demo chairs. She can try it somewhere. And I know she can try it
Right.
at Sandy.
Yeah. Definitely try it at Sandy's. Let me see. There's a we have one in Texas right now. But what I can do is, as we start to send some out, I can also, we haven't really started shipping them. I think there's like 4 in existence right now. So what I can do is, if you send me an email or give me your email address, then I can, as soon as we have some addresses, I can shoot that to you. And you can go there. What city is the
She's
what city are we
asking
talking
specifically the coast, the East Coast, she's saying.
about? Where is it?
East Coast.
East Coast.
Yeah.
Let me. So right now we haven't shipped any yet. We were just going to start shipping in probably about. I think it's going to be in about 10 weeks. So, and I know that we've got a bunch on order, so I could probably give you that information in a couple of weeks. So right now, the answer is no, but the answer will be yes very soon.
Okay, so whenever
So
you have, what we can do is I have the list of all the people who signed up for this event, and we can just, whenever you know where they can test it, you can send it to me, and we should send that email to everyone.
Yeah.
So that somebody's asking for Singapore. How about in Singapore? And then John, and then Rome in Italy. Yeah.
I know that we're going to be shipping some to Europe in that first batch. So that so that's we'll be shipping probably in about 10 weeks, and then maybe it's 12 weeks, and then it takes about 6 weeks, depending on the containers these days, to get there. But I can let you know as soon as I know where those are going to be seen, and then they should be at some of our distributors in Europe, and we have a distributor in Italy, and they can supply you with that information too later on.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
Good.
as soon as I know that information, I'll shoot that off to you, and then you can post it. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. We can do that. We can just send a newsletter with it to everyone. Regina has a question.
Thank you. Hi, Ken.
Hi.
I see actually, hi, somebody else put in the chat as well. So that was like the first part of my 2-part question. Well, first of all, I've had the pleasure to try the chair, and it's really a gorgeous chair, and I've had a really wonderful experience. I do enjoy the roundedness, or not the roundedness of the pedal. So
the contour.
The contour. Yeah. I very much enjoy that. I feel like it's really great for the way I'm using my hands, and also I can really feel my toes and my feet. So really beautiful chair.
Thank you.
Yeah. The first question that I saw was so it's 10 weeks before you order, and then another 12 weeks from there. Is that what we're looking at?
No. So you can, now we're not taking orders, and we've actually just created a waiting list. So we're going to start shipping the first chairs in about 10 weeks or 12 weeks from now. And the reason why I added the other 6 weeks onto that is because then it's got to go onto a boat, and it's got to go to Europe. So to be able to see one, it's going to take probably, my guess is to be able to, the first ones that are going to land in Europe is probably going to be about 3 months. If in Europe, in the United States, it's going to be sooner, because we're going to start shipping them as soon as we make them.
Okay.
So yeah, Regina, where are you located?
Oh, I'm in LA. I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait that long. Yeah.
Okay.
You should go to Sandy's. You've already been on one.
I've been on one, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out my timing as to, when I'm going to get another one. I am an affiliate, so I'm thankful for that too. So
yeah. So call us and make sure that you're on the list. Okay.
Okay.
So that we know that you want one. Yeah. Okay. And to be on the list, actually, just let us know.
Okay. Thank
you.
Cool. It's a gorgeous chair. Everybody.
Yeah.
I see somebody here asking if they can see the pedal contour that Regina was talking. I don't know if Sandy is there and she's still with her camera around. Otherwise, do you have any demo there with you, Ken?
Yeah, I don't have a sample here, but what we're talking about is it's actually a little bit kind of mushroom shaped. So it comes in and then it goes down at the base. It slims down so you can wrap your hands around it, so you can really kind of grab it. And then when you put your feet on it, it kind of rolls under your feet in a really nice way. So if Sandy's there, she could maybe do a close up. It'd be great. Otherwise,
Hi guys.
yeah.
Did you say you wanted a close
Yeah.
up on what? I'm sorry.
On the pedal, the profile of that, so they can see the contour
Oh,
of
sure.
it.
Let's see if my camera's still on. Okay. Oh, there we go.
The chair's gone.
Now I have the camera operated too. So you wanted to see the pedal?
Yeah, if we could just see it from the side, I think that would show it the best.
Are you able to see it? Can you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Should give you an idea. And you can see how thick the pedal is and how thick the sidewalls are. And these are just things that we just copied exactly the way the original chair was.
Is it the same height as the Wunda chair or the combo chair in the balanced body?
Good question. If I wasn't on the air right now, I would just run over and I'd measure one and tell you. Yeah. Everything is a little bit different on it than what you're used to. So, and then of course, all those things add up. Yeah. The you know, the thing with the springs that's really kind of interesting is that it's you know, the weight of the pedal has a big difference, and the springs have not only different amounts of resistance to pull them apart, but as you pull them apart, that resistance changes. And so every spring, every design has its own different parameters and has its own different feelings, and these springs are no exception. They're especially made just for the chair. Yeah. Cool.
I think there are no more
Would
questions.
it be
Is there
possible
anything-
to turn the chair around just to see from all the different angles where the springs are? Would it be possible to turn it around?
Yeah. By the way, those kind of hooks that Sandy was talking about, we call them pigtails because they kind of curl. And that's how the springs go on. And so it's actually easier to put the spring on and they stay on really nicely too.
So those eye hooks screw into the wood, or not eye hooks, but
yeah, they're basically an eye hook, but they're just formed differently, so they form like a kind of a curlicue type thing.
you have to, I mean, to maintain the chair, then you have to make sure it's screwed in properly, like.
Yeah, you screw them in tight, and that's something that you would check periodically to make sure that they don't come loose. Yeah. And you know, one thing about chairs in general, and I don't know that anyone watching this show needs to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway, but you always have to stay in control of that pedal. You know, you can't just walk away from it. And you know, people have a tendency to do that. They get tired and they just walk away and the pedal just slams. And that's bad for the chair. And it's, you know, it scares the customers, and it's just you know, and it's just you just have to really be careful. You have to just make sure that your clients know that they always have to stay in control. That spring always has to be under tension, and that way it's always gonna stay on. You know, but if you were to push the pedal down and just release it, you know, that spring could come off. You know, you'd have to probably do it 10 or 20 times, but it could happen. You know, we wanted to have the same kind of a system that Joe had, where the hook of the spring just went around the eye bolt. And so that hook that goes on the eye bolt is actually open. So that part's all original. Cool. Sandy again. Okay.
Somebody here is asking if you can give them an idea of the cost, and I understand that they can already purchase, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have checked that. I will have that for you in a second. Sandy, do you know what the price is?
Sorry, I don't know that.
I
I know nothing about such things.
I should really know that. So if Shannon or somebody is on watching the show, they could probably type it into the chat. So I think I know what the price is, but I'm afraid to say, because if I say it wrong, I'm really in trouble. So how about I send that as well?
We send that. Yes, somebody said 1,110. No, and 50, 1,150.
Okay.
And I guess it's US dollars.
Did that come from BB?
No, that came from somebody in the class, in the call.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
but we make sure we send you all as well. Like we get all this information, and the Pilares link. You will receive an email from the Pilares link, but it will have this information.
Okay. Cool. All right. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Pilates Link,
No
for having us. Thanks for all of you
pleasure.
guys. I wish your pictures weren't so small so I could see you guys better. I'm getting kind of cross-eyed.
1150.
Well, okay, that sounds good. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Any other questions? Anything I can help you guys with? Sorry, I didn't know the price on the answer on the price, but I appreciate the answer. It's really good. Deal. All right. Cool.
For the demo.
Yeah, Sandy, thanks so much for that. Yeah.
Thank you, Sandy.
Any other questions about Controlology that I could answer? You know, I know you already stumped the chump once already with the price, but I can maybe help with some other things. Yeah.
What was it? A 10% increase? Was it a percentage increase?
You mean on the increase in our price? Is that?
We just raised the prices, right?
Yeah, we did, but we didn't raise the price on the Wunda Chair because we hadn't announced it yet.
I see.
So BB did raise our prices on some things recently, and yeah, and I apologize for that, but we had no choice.
Yeah.
We should have done it a long time ago.
Will additional training be offered for people who are certified under balanced body to be able to learn, like the Controlology armchair or other apparatus that you don't currently have training for?
The short answer to the question is not by balanced body. So we're leaving the Controlology and the classic training to the people that have been doing it for a long time. So if you wanted to get training for the Wunda Chair, it would be best to go with someone like Sandy, that really knows the product really, really well. And I think that a lot of the other people that are teaching, classic Wunda Chair could probably teach you the nuances of that chair really well. Right now, we just don't have any program that's set up to teach on that product.
Yeah, the Pilares link is planning some workshops on the Wunda and baby armchair, so you can stay, also tuned on that.
Mm-hmm.
We have some workshops coming up.
Cool. All right. Cool.
How about the Controlology? Are you going to make a Controlology guillotine?
I want to do that. I'm just kind of waiting right now. I'm trying to figure out and understand if there's going to be enough demand for it. So it's. I think that probably the next thing we start making, is going to be. I'm thinking maybe the high back chair or the electric chair. It's probably the next thing. But if you guys have any strong desires for the next piece of Controlology equipment, let me know, because you could change my mind. You could influence me. So right now the guillotine is I don't know if you know this, but the price of steel is really expensive, and it's ungodly expensive. And so I'm kind of waiting for that steel to come down, because I don't want to charge what you would need to charge to make that right now. I think it's just ridiculous and appalling to pay that much for just steel.
Are you going to make one that doesn't attach to the ceiling by any chance?
If I do that, I would love to do that. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of discussion between between me and Jay and because all the ones I've seen have always attached to the ceiling, but it's really easy for us to make one that just attaches to a platform that you could actually physically move around, and make one that attaches to a wall. So
It might
we
make
actually
the steel costs go down.
pardon a little bit,
Require less steel.
Yeah, it would a little bit. It would a little bit. Yeah. So it sounds like you're agitating for one.
Do it. Do it.
I want one that goes in the door.
The problem with the door one is that it's hard to install it in a way that doesn't damage the door. So it would be, Joe did it because he could, and he could put any screw into anything that he wanted to, but our customers get really freaked out about putting, drilling holes in the floor and drilling holes in the ceiling and even big holes into walls. But walls, it's a little bit easier. But we actually have worked a lot with, like, we do have another version of the guillotine which is freestanding, and it's very doable. It's very doable, and it makes no difference in terms of its security.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's asking a question.
Okay. These are good. All right. Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Can we-
Asking
Yeah.
if you're making, if you will make a spine corrector.
Yes.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an easy one for us. That would be a really easy one. And then my question would be is, does it, how I've seen some pictures of somewhere they have a little flap that comes out, that's part of it. That makes it harder to build. Would people use that? And would that be would they want that to be part of the design, or would just a basic spine corrector work? Because that's pretty easy too. Sounds like there might be some interest.
Basic spine corrector is fine. And do you know what that he's talking about, you guys? It's like a mat that folds out. So underneath the base of the spine corrector, there's a piece of wood that would flap out. Is that correct, Ken?
Yeah.
So
And we
mat,
experiment. Pardon?
instead of having to have a mat.
Yeah, but the issue is that if people open that up and they hold on to the flap and let go of the spine corrector, they break the flap off, and so it's hard to make a weak flap in a sturdy, strong spine corrector. So you have this like a really weak thing attached to a really strong, heavy thing, and to make it so it doesn't break off is really, really hard. Because how people just
Yeah, I would take a plain spine corrector. I don't know how you guys feel, but I would.
What was that?
I would take a plain spine corrector without a flap happily, because you have that great padding. What I would really love is to feel that padding that gives me so much information on the spine.
Yeah. Why don't I take that as a go?
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. Sandy, let's talk after this.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else? I don't want to keep people longer than they need to be kept.
So I have a question. It's so you used to have a guillotine for the BB, just not the Controlology, and the freestanding one, but it's not on sale anymore, right? It hasn't been on sale for a while.
Yeah. It's kind of for the same reason I talked about it. We're long story short, it's expensive to produce, and I how can I say it? Just from my own personal view, I think that with a little bit of time, and when the markets get more normal, it could be more cheaper than right now. So it's just I don't feel. I mean, we could just put it out and say this is the price, but it would be stupid, because in a year the price is going to come down.
Okay.
So for something like that, it's just I just want to wait. So that's
Maybe
what I've done.
1 year, 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, or something.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because this whole you probably know about manufacturing and things. You probably heard this 1,000 times, but some things are just stupidly priced right now, and it's certain labor is hard to get, and And manufacturing in some respects is difficult. So you have to kind of pick your battles. And so one of the things that we decided to do is for the guillotine that we were already making is just to pause it, because we need to make about 40 or 50 of those at a time in order to make it efficient. And so we need to get the orders, and then we need to make them, and we need to find something that will make it make some of the assemblies that we don't make here, make it efficiently. And right now we just don't have that. So, and I think it's a problem that time will cure, but just not right now. Sorry for the long answer. Okay. Any other questions? Cool. All right. You guys are good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I owe a bunch of information to you guys. I'll get that for you. And you know, I just want to thank you for having me on. And thanks, Sandy, for the demonstration.
Yes, thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Ken. It's our pleasure at Pilates Link to get the community together, and we will get all the information from Ken and email all the answers he couldn't give us now. So we'll send you all that information.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye bye.